Did you know that half of the UK population is on track to retire with insufficient savings, facing a future of financial insecurity? Shocking, right? You might think you're safe because you've got a pension or savings, but are you really prepared for what's coming? The truth is, the UK retirement crisis is worse than you think, and the system is failing millions. And it's only going to get worse if things don't change. Let me hit you with another staggering fact. The average UK pension pot is barely enough to cover a single year of living expenses. What does that mean for you? You could be facing a future where you have to keep working, struggle to pay bills, and live in constant fear of running out of money. Scary, right? But here's the kicker. The government's doing very little to solve this. In fact, their response has been sluggish, leaving people to fend for themselves in a rapidly changing financial world. Inflation is rising, housing costs are skyrocketing, and many are entering retirement with more debt than they can handle. Yet millions of people are still unaware of how badly they're unprepared. Stick around, because in this video, we're going to break down 10 shocking reasons why the UK retirement crisis is far worse than anyone's telling you. And more importantly, what you can do to avoid becoming part of it. Trust me, you'll want to stay until the end to learn how you can secure your future before it's too late. Number 1. The growing gap in pension savings. One of the most alarming aspects of the UK's retirement crisis is the growing gap between what people are saving for retirement and what they will actually need to live comfortably. For many, the amount they have in their pension pots simply isn't enough to support them through a lengthy retirement. Recent studies show that over 50% of workers in the UK are not saving enough for retirement, leaving them with little more than the state pension to rely on once they stop working. This gap isn't just a small oversight, it's a massive financial chasm that could leave millions of people facing a future of financial insecurity. For many, relying solely on the state pension isn't enough to meet basic living expenses, let alone maintain a comfortable lifestyle. In fact, the average state pension currently stands at around £179.60 a week, which when you break it down, barely covers the cost of essential bills like rent, utilities, and food. Even if you own your home outright, healthcare, travel, and leisure activities aren't included in this amount, making it impossible to truly enjoy retirement without additional savings. So, what's the solution? The first step is starting early. The earlier you begin saving for retirement, the easier it is to close the gap. Ideally, you should be aiming to contribute at least 12 to 15% of your income towards a pension. If you're unsure about how much you should be saving, it's worth speaking to a financial advisor to ensure that you're on the right track. If you're already past the starting early stage, it's not too late. By adjusting your savings plan, exploring different pension schemes, and cutting unnecessary expenses, you can still make a difference in your retirement prospects. The key is to act now. Don't wait until it's too late to secure your future. Number 2. Rising life expectancy. One of the key drivers behind the UK's growing retirement crisis is rising life expectancy. While living longer is a great achievement, it presents a huge financial challenge for retirees. The longer we live, the more money we need to support ourselves in our later years. And unfortunately, many people simply aren't prepared for this reality. The average life expectancy in the UK is now over 81 years. And with advances in healthcare, this number is only expected to increase. However, many people still plan their retirement based on the idea that they will only need savings for a shorter period. The result? Millions of people find themselves running out of money much earlier than they anticipated. The financial burden of a longer retirement can be staggering. If you retire at 65 and live for another 20 years, that's 2 decades of living expenses, healthcare costs, and potential unexpected expenses. And unfortunately, the average pension savings don't stretch that far. Without proper preparation, a long life could quickly turn into a financial nightmare. For example, consider the costs of healthcare and long-term care. As we age, the likelihood of requiring medical care or assistance with daily activities increases, and these expenses are often not covered by state pensions or even private health insurance. Seniors can easily end up draining their savings just to cover healthcare costs. To combat this, it's essential to plan for a longer retirement. The key is to start saving early, aim for diverse investment strategies, and consider building a safety net for unexpected expenses like healthcare. By anticipating a longer life, you can build a retirement plan that will keep you financially secure for the years to come. So, whether you're in your 20s or 60s, it's never too early or too late to start planning for a longer, financially comfortable future. Number 3. Declining state pension benefits. The UK state pension has long been seen as the safety net for retirees, but the sad reality is that it's no longer enough to provide a comfortable retirement for the majority of people. In fact, as many people are now discovering, the state pension won't even cover the basics, let alone a lifestyle that includes travel, entertainment, or savings for future needs. At present, the full new state pension is around £179.60 per week, which works out to roughly £9,350 per year. While this might seem like a decent sum, it's important to consider that the average UK household spends far more than this annually on basic living costs like rent or mortgage payments, utilities, food, and transportation. According to recent data, the average annual expenditure for a single person in the UK is about £20,000, meaning the state pension falls far short of meeting even the most basic needs. This gap has been widening over the years, and as inflation rises, the value of the state pension becomes even more diminished. For retirees, this means tightening their belts, cutting back on essentials, or even going back to work well into their 70s and beyond just to make ends meet. Additionally, state pension benefits are becoming more uncertain as government policies evolve. With increasing pressures on public finances, there's always the risk that state pension benefits could be reduced or delayed in the future. This adds another layer of uncertainty for those relying on the state pension as their primary source of retirement income. To avoid being left in this precarious situation, it's critical to supplement your state pension with private savings, investments, and pension plans. You can no longer afford to rely solely on the state pension, so take action today to secure your future by starting or increasing your private pension contributions and exploring other investment opportunities that can grow your wealth over time. Number 4. Economic uncertainty and inflation. Economic uncertainty is another major factor contributing to the UK's retirement crisis. Inflation is rising, wages aren't keeping pace, and global events like the pandemic or geopolitical tensions are adding layers of financial instability. For those who are planning for retirement, this creates a worrying environment, as rising costs threaten to erode their savings and purchasing power. One of the most immediate impacts of economic uncertainty is inflation, which is consistently outpacing wage growth. As the cost of goods and services increases, your money loses its value. According to recent data, inflation in the UK has surged to levels not seen in decades, impacting everything from food prices to gas bills to housing. For retirees relying on fixed incomes or savings, this means that their money isn't stretching as far as it used to. Even if you've diligently saved for retirement, the value of your pension pot could be significantly reduced by inflation over time. For example, what £100,000 can buy today may not be enough to cover the same expenses in 20 years if inflation continues to rise unchecked. The purchasing power of your retirement fund could be halved or worse, leading to a diminished standard of living. Moreover, economic uncertainty can create unpredictable fluctuations in investment markets, which directly impact the growth of retirement savings. When markets are volatile, it becomes more challenging to grow your wealth consistently. Many people invest their pensions in stock markets or bonds, but these investments can lose value in times of economic instability, leaving retirees at risk of losing their savings. To protect yourself against the effects of inflation and economic uncertainty, it's important to explore inflation-proof investments like real estate, index-linked bonds, or commodities such as gold. These can help your money grow in line with inflation, ensuring that your retirement savings hold their value. Diversifying your portfolio and working with a financial advisor can also help you navigate the unpredictability of the current economy. Number 5. Pension pots not growing fast enough. While many individuals in the UK are contributing to their pensions, a significant issue is that pension pots aren't growing fast enough to provide a secure retirement. The savings people are putting away often fail to keep pace with inflation, the rising cost of living, and the extended period of time they will need those savings. As a result, many retirees find themselves with far less than they need to live comfortably in retirement. One major factor contributing to this stagnation is the underperformance of pension funds. Many pensions are invested in stock markets or bonds, but market volatility and low interest rates have hindered the growth of these investments in recent years. Even if people are saving regularly, their pension pots often don't see the returns needed to cover future expenses. For example, if your pension investments aren't delivering returns that outpace inflation, your pot could shrink in real terms, leaving you with much less than anticipated when you retire. Another issue is the default contribution rates set by many pension schemes. Even with automatic enrolment, many people are contributing a minimal percentage of their salary to their pension, often as little as 4 to 5%. While these contributions are helpful, they're simply not enough to build a substantial pension pot over time. The recommended amount to save for a comfortable retirement is usually 12 to 15% of your salary, but most people aren't hitting that target, meaning they could end up with far less money than they need. To remedy this, consider increasing your pension contributions. Even small increases can make a big difference over time. Additionally, it's crucial to review the performance of your pension fund regularly. If your pension is underperforming, it might be worth switching to higher growth investment options or diversifying your assets to achieve better returns. Getting professional financial advice can help you optimize your pension and ensure your savings are growing at the right pace. Number 6. Poor financial education. A key factor contributing to the UK retirement crisis is the lack of financial education among many individuals, especially when it comes to planning for retirement. Despite the importance of saving and investing for the future, financial literacy remains low, and many people don't understand the basics of managing their money or preparing for retirement. This knowledge gap is leading to a situation where people simply aren't saving enough or making informed decisions about their financial future. Recent surveys indicate that a large percentage of the UK population lacks a basic understanding of key financial concepts like compound interest, asset allocation, or the importance of tax-efficient savings. This lack of financial knowledge results in individuals making poor decisions when it comes to their pensions, investments, and overall retirement strategy. For instance, many people are unaware of the impact of inflation on their savings, or they fail to realise that simply putting money into a savings account won't provide enough growth to secure their future. What's more, the complexity of pension options adds to the confusion. With so many different types of pension schemes available, like workplace pensions, personal pensions, and state pensions, it can be overwhelming to figure out which options are best suited for an individual's specific needs. Without understanding these options fully, people may end up choosing pensions with low returns or high fees, which further diminishes their retirement savings. To combat this, improving financial education is essential. People need to be equipped with the tools to understand how to budget, invest, and save effectively. There are plenty of online resources, courses, and financial advisors available to help bridge this gap. If you're unsure about your financial future, consider speaking to an advisor or taking an online course in financial literacy. A small investment in your knowledge now can lead to a much more secure retirement later. Number 7. The gig economy. The rise of the gig economy in the UK is another significant contributor to the growing retirement crisis. As more people turn to freelance, contract, or part-time work, traditional pension plans and long-term financial security become harder to access. In fact, more than 25% of the UK workforce is now employed in non-traditional jobs, many of which don't offer benefits like employer-sponsored pensions or retirement savings plans. Gig workers, such as Uber drivers, delivery drivers, or freelancers, often don't have the luxury of a stable salary or the automatic pension contributions that full-time, salaried employees benefit from. This means that gig economy workers must take full responsibility for saving for their retirement, which can be incredibly challenging without the right resources or knowledge. In the gig economy, income can be inconsistent and irregular, making it hard to set aside money for retirement. Freelancers might have periods of great income followed by dry spells, which makes it difficult to maintain consistent pension contributions. On top of that, many gig workers are self-employed, meaning they don't benefit from the same tax advantages or employer contributions as traditional workers. However, the gig economy doesn't have to mean financial insecurity, while the lack of employer pension schemes is a problem. There are alternative ways to plan for retirement. Freelancers and gig workers can set up their own private pension plans, such as personal pensions or self-invested personal pensions, SIPPs. These options allow individuals to contribute a set amount of money each month and still benefit from the same tax relief as those in traditional employment. If you're working in the gig economy, it's crucial to take the initiative and set up your own retirement savings plan. While the system might not offer support, there are plenty of tools and strategies to build your own financial security for the future. Number 8. Rising debt levels. Rising debt levels are a significant issue facing many individuals as they approach retirement age, and they're contributing to the growing retirement crisis in the UK. As more people accumulate debt throughout their working years, they often enter retirement with substantial financial burdens that drain their resources and make it even harder to achieve financial independence in later years. In recent years, consumer debt in the UK has been on the rise. Many individuals are taking out loans, using credit cards, or relying on buy now, pay later schemes, which can quickly spiral out of control if not carefully managed. The average household in the UK is carrying more debt than ever before, and retirement age individuals are no exception. In fact, more than 40% of retirees are entering their golden years still burdened by debt, whether it's mortgages, personal loans, or credit card balances. This rising debt is problematic for several reasons. First, it leaves retirees with less disposable income to enjoy their retirement, as a significant portion of their savings must go towards servicing debt. Second, many people don't have enough emergency savings to cover unexpected expenses, which can lead to further borrowing. Third, carrying debt into retirement often means that individuals will need to work longer than they had originally planned, delaying their retirement and financial freedom. To combat this, it's crucial to focus on paying off debt before retirement, starting early to reduce high-interest debts like credit cards, and focusing on building an emergency fund can help ensure that you enter retirement without the financial strain of debt. If you're nearing retirement and still carrying a significant amount of debt, it's essential to speak with a financial advisor about strategies to consolidate or refinance your debt to make it more manageable and reduce the impact it has on your retirement plans. Number 9. Housing costs and lack of equity. Housing costs are a significant concern for many people approaching retirement, and they play a crucial role in the UK's growing retirement crisis. With rising property prices and increasing rental rates, many individuals struggle to achieve home ownership or find themselves house poor, spending a disproportionate amount of their income on housing-related expenses. This situation only becomes more problematic as people age and approach retirement. For many individuals, their home is their largest asset, and they may expect to rely on their equity in their property to support their retirement plans. However, for most, this dream is becoming harder to achieve. With property prices continuing to increase, many younger generations are finding it increasingly difficult to buy homes, leaving them with no equity to fall back on in retirement. Even those who do own homes often struggle with mortgages or are unable to fully pay off their property before retirement. In fact, rising housing costs are one of the key reasons why many people are entering retirement with insufficient savings. They may have spent so much of their income on housing during their working years that they have little left to invest in a pension or retirement savings. As rents continue to climb, those who do not own their homes face the added pressure of paying rent for the rest of their lives, something that can be extremely difficult to do on a fixed retirement income. To avoid this scenario, it's essential to start thinking about housing costs early in your retirement planning. If you're a homeowner, make sure you're actively paying down your mortgage and considering ways to maximize your property's equity. For renters, consider how you might be able to reduce housing costs by downsizing or moving to a less expensive area. Additionally, if you're near retirement age, it may be worth considering equity release options or selling your home to free up additional funds for your retirement years. Number 10. Government's failure to address the crisis. One of the most frustrating aspects of the UK's retirement crisis is the lack of action from the government. While many individuals are struggling to save enough for retirement, the government has been slow to address the growing issue. Despite warnings from financial experts and rising public concern, there has been little in the way of substantial policy changes to provide better support for retirees, leaving many to fend for themselves. For years, there has been a call for reforms to the pension system, whether it's increasing the state pension, improving pension contributions, or creating more accessible ways for people to save for their future. Unfortunately, the response has been insufficient. While the government has introduced automatic enrolment into pension schemes, many people still fail to save enough, and pension contributions remain too low to provide a comfortable retirement. Additionally, the state pension is now considered inadequate for meeting basic living costs, yet the government has been reluctant to make significant increases to this amount. The rise in cost of living expenses, including housing, healthcare, and general inflation, has only highlighted the inadequacy of current pension payouts. And yet, there's been no real effort to tackle this, leaving millions of retirees at risk of financial instability in their later years. Furthermore, as the population ages and life expectancy increases, the burden on the state's finances grows. Yet there has been little long-term planning to address the pressures that an aging population will place on the welfare state and healthcare services. It's clear that the government needs to take stronger action, both in terms of reforming the pension system and providing clearer guidance on how people can take control of their retirement savings. In the meantime, individuals must continue to take matters into their own hands and actively plan for a secure retirement. In conclusion, the UK retirement crisis is something we can no longer ignore. With soaring costs, stagnant pension pots, and a lack of government action, the odds are stacked against us. But the good news is, it's not too late to take control of your financial future. By acting now, whether it's increasing your pension contributions, diversifying your investments, or simply educating yourself on better financial habits, you can still secure a comfortable retirement. It's up to you to make those changes today to ensure that you won't be caught off guard tomorrow. Now, I want to hear from you. What's your plan for retirement? Do you feel confident about your future? Or are you worried about the rising costs and lack of savings? Drop your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Let's get a conversation going. And if this video helped open your eyes to the seriousness of the situation, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. We put in a lot of effort to create these videos to help you, and all it takes is one click to show your support. Stay tuned for more insights and tips to help you navigate your financial future. Thanks for watching.